Howdy, howdy, folks. Got a World Warships Legends match today in the Huron, the new Tier 7, what is it, Commonwealth Premium Destroyer in the chained bundles, Wings of the North, or Ships of the North, or something like that. This is kind of a weird, just like stealth drop that they put in the Huron and the Yukon, two Commonwealth ships. Here's the build I'm running. Waller, I've got quick fix on here, and then here's how I've done well enough. I actually think the ship is capable of more than that. Um, but as I've had a few bummer matches. I've been doing some kind of limit testing, capability testing with the ship, because I think it is a kind of unique interesting ship. It's got a lot of really good strengths, but it also definitely has some limitations and drawbacks. Torpedoes, no smoke, but it can run the Waller zombie build, which is one of the reasons that I'm showing you this match rather than any of the other ones. It's something that I wanted to highlight with the ship. I have got the Haida, which I think the Haida is probably, I would hesitate to say it's outright better, but it's almost certainly more consistent. It does have the smokes. It has some of the same drawbacks, um, but I think kind of the big strength of this one is the AP, which we'll see in a second. It gets improved pin angles. It actually has quite good damage on the AP shells. The Haida is more HE focused and has smoke, so it's just a little more straightforward, a little more consistent. If you don't get the broadsides in this one, and if you kind of don't get to, if you don't get to do your thing, the Haida is just kind of going to be better in some situations. But I think this one can certainly perform, and if you can get those looks, if you can kind of either cover or open water gunboat against stuff, I think this one does have a better fire chance. So the actual damage is lower on the HE, but the fire chance is a little bit better. Actually, we'll pause right here, and we'll go compare them. All right, so we're at the Haida and the Huron. I've played the Haida more. I've got them, yeah, they're at preset 2, preset 2. So it's the exact same build, so we can take a look at the stats. Just kind of apples to apples, as close as they can be. So the first thing is the Haida gets the crawling smoke. It does also get a speed boost and a sonar 3.6. Pretty sure the Huron is better on the sonar. I think it's 4. Yeah, so it gets 4 kilometers. It gets a faster speed boost, so 15%. Duration is 120, and then it gets the heal instead. So let's see. Let's go check out the speed boost on this one. Same duration, longer reload, less boost. So the Huron's going to be a little more aggressive, a little more, in your face. Let's take a look at the main battery. Haida gets 3.8 second. Not amazing, but not terrible. 180 time, and then yeah, 2000 HE damage, 5% fire chance, standard pin angles on the AP, kind of relatively whatever pin, and then 2200. But I believe that's short fuse 0.01, or is that standard for DDs? I don't know about the DD fuses. I don't care that much. Huron, slightly faster reload, lower HE damage but higher fire chance, and then it does get improved pin angles, similar penetration values, higher damage, better pin angles, and same fuse timer, whatever. Torpedo launchers are what, 62 knots, 96, whatever all that stuff is. I think they're the same. 64 knots. Yeah, so the torpedo launches are slightly different, but all in all, it's about a wash. Haida gets better concealment against Hurons, 5.8 with this build. Hurons 38.6 knots. Haida, I think, is similar. Yeah, exactly the same. So 630, 4-second rudder shift. 630, 4-second. Yeah, so this is all, same enough. AA, neither of them have amazing AA. Yeah, it looks the same. So it's like, sure, it's decent on the short range, but that's so short range, it doesn't really matter. Put that the secondary gun, that's not going to matter unless you're memeing. So, what, I think it's slightly higher health on the 980, but like that's a wash. That's you know, one match out of 1,000 that'll matter. Again, because you're running Waller. This one has the heal, like, etc., etc. So similar enough ships. Haida, I think, is probably a little more consistent, a little easier to use, probably a lot easier to use. Both of them can be quite fun, especially if you have a fully leveled Waller. My gut feeling on this is it's only a matter of time for this build, and that's what I'm going to show a little bit later in the match, so we can stop with this and get back to the match. Oh, well, no, I just changed it. Sorry, I just wanted to show one more thing, just again, because I think, relative somewhat. This is how I've done in the Haida. I've seen some people with just fantastic stats in this thing. This is better than average for my tier 7 destroyers, but the actual stats themselves are not like off the charts. But I think you can almost guarantee destroyer kills in this thing. Like there really isn't a destroyer at tier 7 that can stand up to this thing without a lot of support backing you up. And then I think I already showed my Huron stats are, you know, a little worse, but again, you look at the damage, you look at the warships killed, the XP's a little lower, win rate's a little lower, like, you know, it's ballpark. Like, they're not wildly different. So, back to the match. Okay, back to the match. So, yeah, we got AP loaded, we see Ascani. We knew he was coming over here. We're trying to kind of stay out of range. Like, there's a bunch of battleships lurking around that I don't really want to get blasted by. Testing the pin angles on the AP, as we just looked at, the AP is a little bit better than average in this, and that's fun. That's really what I want to use. And again, some of the matches that I haven't won, I don't know that I've ever specifically cost my team a match, but I've definitely been testing out how much I can get away with the AP on this. So we'll see. You know, this is not like a final call on this, but yeah, that was a good one. Like if you actually can get the AP going on a destroyer, I think this thing can be a lot of fun. So I'm looking to play it more. Even if the Haida is maybe more consistent, I think this one might end up being more fun, and it may be the kind of ship that if you get in the right position in the right match, maybe it has more high roll potential. But I think they're both very solid ships. I also think if you have one, if your Huron is hidden way deep in the chain bundles, don't sweat it. It'll be available some other time. If you don't get it, it's not the best destroyer known to man. I actually do think the Haida is like, if you're interested in these destroyers at all, if you like tier 7 destroyers, I think the Haida is like, that's the destroyer. It does struggle against battleship heavy matches if you have like no support. The torpedoes are not substantial enough to have like kind of standoff, long range, good damage potential against battleships, but I said it, I think it was my Cossack 38. They do exist, and they are good enough that the battleships have to respect you at least a little bit. So I'm happy they're there, but these are both, I think, more gun-forward destroyers. And then that Waller build, man. I'm nervous about the radar on this constellation. He hasn't radared me yet, and I don't know if he's used it and I dodged it or what, but I'm definitely like kind of looking out for him, especially because there's a Picardy over here, secondary range, unless he's got a junk build. Well, not a main gun build. I'm sure there are people that like main guns on the Picardy, but for me, that thing's about a secondary, so... we are trying to get some torps, maybe trying to cap it, and then if you look at the teams, like, we have... Good grief. We've sunk all of the red destroyers, but it's like... why is this constellation here? I think this is either the second one already or there's another one that does it later, that like our battleships just kind of throw themselves away in this match. You know, we're not up at this point, but we are in kind of control of this match. If they don't just throw themselves away, and they just throw themselves away. And that's a real bummer. And now we're down kind of a lot on points. And we're down a lot on damage. And again, as strong as I think the ship is, this is kind of one of its weaknesses, is like, in this situation, we're really down on kind of actual damage output. Oh, it's such a disappointment. I thought this guy would turn, like, as soon as possible, as soon as he saw me. So I short the torpedoes more than I needed to, and he just dodges all of them. I think that these American hybrid battleships, I'm just always amazed at how maneuverable they end up being, especially compared to some of the other ones, and considering their whole armor layout, and you know, the Citadel and the overall speed and whatever, they basically get like the maneuverability of the South Dakotas and nearly the speed of the Iowas. So whatever. We're trying to sneak in AP shots on his deck right here. He is very much trying to ram me, and I am just hoping that we can sink him before he does. We both know what's up, and then oh, thankfully, you know, the ships that we do have left down there come through. Again, zombie build, like, if he gets the ram there, it should do enough damage. Maybe not, you know, if we have the relative advantage, maybe our damage reduction, although ramming I don't think is included, so I think it's specifically all the direct damage from projectiles. I know fire and flooding is not included, so yeah, I think we would have still gone down there. But since he didn't quite make the ram, we're just staying alive. Oh, we've got, yeah, here comes I think that's the Picardy, and it's just, at this point,
Engine boost activated.
we are so far behind. Our ships are out of position. This guy's broadside. Yeah, there he goes. The Georgia at the other side goes down. I'm hoping that I can get some torps in this gap, that like he'll kind of stop and not want to get shot by me, but I think he speeds up. So I think we whiffed this torpedo launch again. I can't remember if we hit any of them. We might hit like one. So not an amazing torpedo load. And oh yeah, I think maybe we hit that one. And again, I'm just not good with torpedoes. I think a lot of times I miss. Yeah, we do get one. So and again, you know, that's 11k damage. The torpedoes aren't nothing, and especially if you're decent with torpedoes, they exist enough that I think it's nice that they're there. I'm trying to get behind the island cover. I want to drop my firing penalty if possible so we can get there, repair the fire, and then this sequence is really kind of, I think, highlights. We've already talked about some of the weaknesses of the ship, but then this is going to highlight the real strengths of the ship, because we're going to head up to this island, turn our sonar on to spot him, because it doesn't work if nothing is spotted, and there's no way he's going to be able to get away from this. And as soon as he is spotted, any second now, there we go, we start regenerating health. I think individually, none of these skills are, you know, just the worst thing in the world, the damage reduction and the heal and stuff, whatever. But when you stack them all up together, it just really feels to me like this is not the way ships are generally intended to be played. Like this just feels like this build is on limited time to me. I could be wrong. But I kind of like the range, the rate of regeneration on the skill, something, you know, I don't think they can gut it completely. I think these ships that are kind of built around it, since he's the only destroyer commander available for this nation. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I will be surprised if this build just stays as it is forever. So, coming in, we lose the rudder. You do get a lot of shattering. So yeah, again, this is like, I'm just not as used to the ship. I should be aiming higher. I was curious if the 200 millimeters of penetration that the guns get at the muzzle would be enough to Citadel the Constellation there. I just thought that would be absolutely hilarious if we pulled that off. But we don't. And then here, watching this back, I think I let my frustration get the better of me. I am frustrated that I'm left 1v3 in what I thought should have been a win of a match. And I see this like, oh, I can pick up the Kraken and whatever. I think I have time here to go around the island the long way. And I think I let the frustration get the better of me. And then I also think this is a bit of a miscalculation. I was a little worried that if the Congress comes into B and isn't spotted and he radars me and I'm not near anything, that I'm in, you know, I'm not within steadfast soldier range. I'm not going to regenerate health. So if he spots me for, I think it's 35 seconds on the Congress radar, that these two battleships south of A will be able to just sink me. So I'm like, oh, I need to get into range. In retrospect, watching it back, I think I could have run north and then gotten around the other side of the island and then taken the Congress out and then possibly sunk those battleships one by one. Who knows how many DCPs the Lenin had left, etc., etc. So Kraken lost, but I think it showcases some of the strengths and weaknesses of the Huron. It's an interesting ship. I don't think it's a must-have, and I think maybe borrowed time for the build.